Of course, the trees do. Of course, the little biology in the soil, they have a consciousness too, but their consciousness is geared to a different reality. So they don't care what the universe does or what's going on out there. They just care how they get the energy that they're getting. See, right? That's what they want. So, and in order for, unfortunately, we are becoming such a race that we are constantly, well, atomic energy. Right. Okay. So Mother Nature has her own form of atomic energy. Right. Boom. Things are blowing up everywhere around the universe, but not on the planet. Right. We created our own by imitating nature. Boy, that we can blow this up. Unfortunately, that's a radiation that we can't survive with because our body cannot handle that type of frequency, which just literally melt and die. But there are frequencies that we are bombarded with all the time that we want.
Now, I do want to point out to everybody, and Andy's kind of said it. Mother Nature uses all of the frequencies. Mankind has captured certain frequencies, certain bandwidths, and has amplified those. That's what's affecting us. That's what that RF noise is. Those frequencies already existed in Mother Nature. It's how we manipulated them that is doing damage, because it's like everything, it gets out of balance. But we did have a question here by Dr. Green Thumb. Invisible, speak of music's influence on plants, if you could.
My name is Andy, by the way. You can call me Andy. So when I started doing the Bach flower remedies, I realized that the flower that I wanted to imitate to create in that thing was producing a certain color. So I said, cool, you have a cool aura. Also, you have a cool frequency that I can put over there, because the idea is to transfer the frequency to the pill. And so I discovered really early on that plants also have an aura. Also, they also have a frequency, and they also tune in to certain frequencies that Mother Nature gives them. You might be surprised how the frequency of bird songs will do to plants. You'd be surprised how the frequency of rain, when it rains, you have the thunder. Okay, thunder produces a certain frequency that you feel it. It goes through the air, and you go, whoa, and the trees go, whoa, and the ants and the birds go, whoa, wonderful. That's a certain frequency that we have tuned into, and it writes to the water. It writes this frequency to the water. When you're drinking it, you're absorbing it into the water. So I've learned. So when I thought, that's how I started dealing with plants and people. My inner gardening music was really made to generate the frequency for the plants, for the soil. Turns out we are part of that, so we get to benefit from that. But what it goes down deeper is that the frequency determines your genetic structure. Your frequency determines what that plant needs to function, what this human body needs to function. So my frequency that I tune into is different than the frequency that the plant wants. See, you know what I mean? Or the cockroach, or the ants, or the gopher. So they have their own little frequency, and plants have separate frequencies. Together they have one harmonic frequency, but individually they have their own frequency. You can copy that frequency. You don't even need. So with gems, for example, I learned that it's a more concentrated frequency than the plants. So the plants. So the plants have a certain frequency, but if you was to tap into a gem, that gem has 1,000 to 1 billion times stronger frequency that affects the plants. So you just have to learn what frequency affects what plants. Because different plants have different consciousness, different levels of being, and they tune into these frequencies. That's why there are gems. You have these white, beautiful crystalline gems, right? You know, they're in the earth. Well, guess what? The biology has evolved to listen to the gems, to listen to the crystals, as well as anything that's in the ground. All gems are in the ground, right? They're not found in the air. They're not found in a cloud. They're in the ground or in the mountain, right? In the certain, like gold. Gold is a particular frequency. You know your body is made of gold fiber. You know that, right? Your energy travels on these golden threads. Gold is what we need to transfer the frequency. Gold is a very high, pure level, like better than silver and iron, all those things. Gold is unique. I was talking to somebody today. He says, why do aliens come here? He asked me. I said, they came for the gold in the water. That's why they come here. This is on this planet, in this whole galaxy. This only place you're going to find gold and water in this whole galaxy. That's why we can't find anybody else. Well, you're looking for certain people like us. There may be other aliens or other creatures that don't need gold, but even then, I find that aliens need gold, just like we do. But they don't get it. Aliens use gold because gold transmits a certain frequency, and aliens who work very well, especially evolved aliens, they tune into frequency. It's all about frequencies, right?
Energy, frequency, vibration, like